That
just so
is
it's not
so
as behind
funny.
you.
I tried that earlier, but it made like it chopped some of my hair. It was weird.
I know it does that to me too.
All right, I'm gonna go live, guys, at 7 p.m.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. We are live. Yeah. So tell me a little bit more, Keena. How
Happening
was?
now.
I know we are live now. Uh, Keena, how was your week? Has it been crazy?
It's been really crazy. Lots of consultations, lots of new clients trying to still get in where they fit in this market.
Hi guys, it's 7 p.m.
No worries.
I always join from my phone so I can look at the chat. But
At the chat, I know, right? That's important so we can message anybody that is commenting. And then you, Melissa, how has your week been?
It's been a little rough. This is the ice pack that I've been using among cold peas and like frozen peas and frozen corn. And
Oh,
so I had 6 teeth pulled a week ago.
Oh my
And then I ended
goodness.
up with dry socket on over the weekend.
oh no.
So I just want y'all to know that don't delay on your dental work because it's a pain in the you know what. And yeah, I'm on a lot of meds, so I'm winging it this week, folks.
Yeah, I'm sure you are, Melissa. That's crazy. That thing that you have, do you put is there something else that you put in between to hold it, or you just put it like skin to skin
Nope.
contact, or? Okay.
I mean, I can't fit around the sombrero, but
So, what do y'all think of the hats? I mean, Melissa's hat is probably the winner here.
I'm a little over the top.
But I like
Well, I
this
mean,
idea. We
I
all
gotta
wear our
cost the best
shirts.
price.
We all wear our shirts. We look fun. I mean, this is going to be a fun conversation. So I'm hoping everybody can have some fun with us and listen in to how our week has been. And we talk about the Austin market. So with that being said, you guys ready to start?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. So guys, thank you for joining us. We are ATX Home Girls. We are a local, diverse group of lovely ladies serving the greater Austin area, and we're here bringing you valuable content. So please don't forget to like and subscribe. That would really help us get to our goal of 100 by July 1st. Was it July 1st, Melissa? I think
Yes,
so.
by July 1st,
By
please.
July 1st. So I'm going to let you lovely ladies introduce yourselves. Keena, you want to go first?
Sure.
Yeah.
My name is Keena Habeeb, and as Liza mentioned, we are local to Austin. So I was actually born and raised in the Round Rock area. Left for a little bit and then brought my little butt right back. Can't stay away for long.
I know, right?
Yes, totally. So I've got one little one at home that will be 3 next week, and one dog also at home. And I primarily focus in like the North Austin area as far as real estate. But of course I don't discriminate. I'll go to all areas of Austin, the suburbs, whatever. That's kind of my thing.
Awesome.
And you have a little girl turning 3.
Yes.
And I didn't know you had a dog, or did I know that already? Did I miss that?
I think I said it last time. I don't remember.
Oh man, dang! I must have just flown
Yeah.
like boop. Melissa, go ahead. Melissa, oh my gosh, Melissa, stop.
Hey y'all know me, right? Melissa from Austin, Texas. Born and raised in the east and the southeast. And as y'all know, I've been in real estate about 10 years. Everybody knows I have a grandbaby, and if you haven't, then you're living under a rock. She's perfect. And she'll be 5 months tomorrow. She's
Aw,
just the cutest thing.
cute.
And yeah, I have a husband, and I live in Manor and work this market and surrounding market and really all of Austin. But yeah, I do live, work, and play in Manor. And then it's kind of like Keena. I'll go anywhere. As you know, I do have a little bit of boundaries. Like I won't go past like Jarrow Granger, you know. But for the most part, I can work any of the markets and pretty familiar with everything. Being born and raised here. And I have 2 healer dogs. One's a red healer, one's a blue healer, and that's Phoenix and Sadie. And then I have Peanuty. He's my 3-legged Chihuahua. And then we have our cat Sarabi, and she's kind of, you know, sassy.
Queen Sassy.
She's pretty sassy, but I love her. But she does run the show around here. And then my husband, as y'all know, I've been married since 2017. And I have a daughter. And then, of course, my son made me a grandma. So
Aw, cute.
That's my life.
Yay, that's your life. And I am Liza Brazzil, a native Austinite, born and raised here and grew up in Montauk neighborhood. So hopefully you guys know what that means, Montopolis.
4-1.
Yeah, 4-1. And for the past almost decade now, I've been helping my clients in the residential real estate sector from, really the greater Austin area. I focus mainly in Austin, but with how the market has performed, it has pushed us even to Jarrell, or sometimes even other areas past Jarrell, and all the way to Seguin, maybe New Braunfels is where now I'm kind of venturing out to. But yeah, that's who we are, guys. I thank you for showing up and listening into this casual conversation we're gonna have about what's happened in the market. So guys, what do y'all want to talk about first? We have a variety of topics that we can jump into. So I don't know if there was something y'all wanted to jump into first, maybe the market stats. I have some from March now. The ABOR stats for March are not out, but I do have a list per zip code if you guys want to jump into that.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. What zip code should I jump into first?
I work a lot in 5-8, so let's see what's happening in there.
Let's see what I have. Okay, 5-8. So this is for March. So for the whole month of March, the active listings in 5-8 were 10. New listings were 26. The number of sales for the month of March were 17, with an average price point of $631,000. And the volume sold for that month was over 10 million. The average price per square foot was at $372, and the average days on market was 5 days on market. Melissa,
right.
That's crazy. Isn't that crazy? Melissa, pick a zip code.
For you?
Huh?
Is she frozen for you? She's frozen for me.
Oh, Melissa, you're frozen. Okay, we'll give her a minute to get back. She's going to join here in a second.
Okay.
There she is. Melissa, you froze for a bit. Oh, what happened? Is that sombrero? It's too much.
I don't know.
Skype can't handle it.
Out in the whole neighborhood.
Oh, no. It does look like you're in the dark now.
I'm on a full battery, so can you all see me?
Yeah, I can see you. You look just fine right now. I can see you on my end.
As long as y'all can see me, I'm good.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good, girl.
But like the power just went, and all I have here is my computer with a full charge, thank God, and this light that's attached to my computer. And I don't know what's going on, but there is no power in the whole house. Looks like the neighborhood. People are walking outside.
No.
I don't know.
Maynard had an outage, a power outage. That's crazy. Hey, you're still
You
part.
can't make this
Yeah,
stuff
you
up.
are still part of this stream. Let's do this in the dark, girl. Let's do this.
We got this.
Let's ring it.
We got this. Hey, so what zip code? It doesn't have all the zip codes here, but hopefully it has yours, Melissa. Do you want me to jump into a particular zip code?
No, I think just wing it.
Let's wing it. All right. So let me do 4-8 South Austin. So in South Austin, we had 30 listings, 82 new listings. Again, guys, this is for the month of March. We had 69 sales for the month of March in 78748 with an average price point of $587,000.
How many? 69?
69 sales, yeah. Get this, the volume sold in 78748 for that month was over 40 million. Over 40 million, yeah. And then
guys, I just want to let you know I'm using my hotspot, so I might be like,
that's perfectly fine. I still see you. Yeah, I still see you with me. The average price point for 78748 was at $305 per square foot with an average days on market at 19. That is freaking crazy, guys. Let's jump into, and here's a crazy part. All right, let me do 4-6, Westlake, Eanes, ISD area. All right, so we had 24 listings, 21 new listings, 18 sales, The average price point was at over 2.3 million, with a total volume sold for March at over 42 million. The average price per square foot is $735 a square foot, with an average days on market at 24. Another hot zip code is 78745, which is Southwest Austin. The number of listings there were at 31. New listings that hit the market were at 73, with a total sales of 55. Average price point at 650,000. And a total of volume for the month of March is over 35 million. We had an average price per square foot at 431, with 15 days on market. Yeah, on average for days on market. Let's do Montopolis area. Well, it's not necessarily Montopolis area, but 4-1, right? 4-1. Let's do that. So we had a total of 10 homes or 10 listings with new listings at 19. And then we had 17 transactions that closed. The average price point for that area was at 813,000. Total volume sold for the month of March in 78741 was over 13 million. And we had the price per square foot average at 493, with 14 days on market on average. So yeah, guys, this is crazy. Let's do one more. Let's do how about East Austin, 78702? Actually, let's do two more. Let's do should I do 03, 02, 03, and 04? Those are probably good zip codes to finish off with. All right. Let me do 04. 78704, which is just north of 71. We have a total of 24 active listings, 50 new listings, 31 number of sales. Average price point was at over 1.4 million. Total volume for the month of March was at over 44 million. The average price per square foot was at $838, and an average days on market, 24 days. Now I know, isn't that crazy? For 78703, we had 16 active listings, 13 new listings, 14 total sales. The average sales price was at over 2.3 million. The total volume sold for that month was at over 33 million. The average sold per square foot is at $795, and the average days it took to sell was 37 days. And then our final one is 78702. We had 29 active listings, 46 new listings, 23 sales, and the average price point was over 1 million. The volume total for the month of March was over 23 million. The average price per square foot at 621, and the average days it took to sell those properties were at 14. So that's crazy, guys.
So I'm looking at across 7 North Austin zip codes, a median home price $545 in February. I don't have March. It's saying here the prices were the highest in 78759, which I'm not surprised because that's like Great Hills, Balcones, really nice neighborhoods.
Right.
You know that, Keena.
Yeah.
Of the North Austin zip codes, they're saying, of course, this is in February. Who knows what the heck's going on in March? Once we get those ABOR stats, guys, we can share those with y'all. But 78753 seems to be what they would say is the most affordable North Austin.
Crazy.
So that kind of takes you into. Did you hear me okay?
Yeah, I did. You cut out a little bit, but I hear you okay.
Okay. But yeah, this is just nuts.
It is nuts. I can see, here's the thing. I mean, I understand the Fed's wanting to raise the interest rates to offset the inflation. The thing, and I don't know what you guys are seeing, but with inflation going up and then these interest rates spiking up as well, I personally have experienced some buyers that had to back out of contracts just because the interest rates have spiked up a lot recently, into the 5s, or even with some buyers, I'm at one buyer, I'm at 6.125%. He didn't have to back out, but other buyers that it just was too much, that it just messed with their numbers and being able to qualify, they had to back out, unfortunately. And
Of the contract or just the process?
Yes, for new builds. So that's the unfortunate thing when with how everything is going, you get under contract for a new build. The new build's not going to be ready until possibly a year out. I mean, this is after waiting for a long time. And then now the interest rates, skyrocket. And they're like, I can't do this anymore, right? So it kind of forces them to back out, unfortunately. But I don't know what you guys are experiencing as far as on that end because they were able to lock in their price at that, when they were under contract for a new build. But now with the interest rates, for a builder, I mean, they can.
I think a lot of buyers are being pushed out. Like, they're not able to afford. So I don't know. Kind of what I'm seeing is there's a threshold and price point in which I feel buyers are a little bit more ready to compete. Mm-hmm. And it does not mean that as a first-time home buyer you can't compete. If you save money or using specific programs, it could happen for you. But we always talk about flexibility here. So it's going to have to be a flexibility in the location. So you may thought you were going to live in, for example, 78753, but what you really, is going to happen in order for you to afford is maybe you live in Caldwell County,
right.
Maybe you live north of Gerald, it's just going to have to look a little different for you. But the interest rates are one thing, but the development is important. Multifamily housing is on the up. You're seeing, how many times can you count apartment complexes off the side of the highway or a major freeway? Mm-hmm. Is that Keena?
I was saying they're popping up everywhere now.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know that there's one they were talking about near downtown Austin. It's a 400 unit project. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be that same style that they do where it's like retail on the bottom, restaurants, and then, apartment living upstairs. One of them that's got a lot of buzz this week is the 4th Street district. Mm-hmm. And that's the one I'm talking about, and particularly with this one, because it's bringing up a lot of buzz. I mean, they're just wanting to change the face of downtown Austin, and it's quite a popular and nostalgic area. It's very history rich. So, tearing things down just to put up housing, it's like a double-edged sword, because on the one hand, we need the housing. On the other hand, it's like downtown doesn't look downtown anymore. Mm-hmm. You're thinking about a 400 unit project. And around that area, I used to go to Spaghetti Warehouse, and there's a bunch of bars out there that I frequented in my 20s. And I think they're just all going to go bye-bye, I think they were going to bring one of those bars back. I can't remember which one. It might have been Old Can Harry's or something. But, these people are going to have to temporarily vacate. And I think something was being voted on this week on that. So
yeah, exactly.
It's pretty crazy, huh?
Definitely.
It is.
Definitely crazy. There's that new development. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. Vesper ATX, new high rise that's coming up. They're having an event. It is downtown Austin. I'm not exactly sure what street it'll be on. It hasn't even, it hasn't broken ground yet, I believe. I don't think it has. But they're doing a pre-construction or pre-sale pretty soon. They do have an event party coming up on the 20th. That people have to register for to get to see what it could, what it's going to look like, the plans, and to make an appointment to talk over what options are available. And I believe they're starting in the 500s. I don't remember if it was mid 500s or low 500s, but for the high rise, I mean, it's kind of hard to find in that price point. A lot of the high rises, they're already like into the 600s, well into 10 million, maybe more for a penthouse, right? I believe the modern sold out pretty quickly. They have about 3 penthouses left, and I believe the price points were at 10 million for the modern.
What is this? What is this?
It's crazy, right?
This is crazy.
Yeah.
This is insane,
so it's definitely Austin. The landscape is changing for sure. I mean, I don't know what it's going to look like. But I do see, let me see, there is another one called, this is not downtown, it's East Village. Did you guys hear about that?
One. That's all farmer.
Yeah.
That's down the street.
East Village.
I can't wait for that one.
I know.
No, I have 2 clients under contract there, actually.
Yeah,
They're
so-
excited.
That, and, go ahead.
Is it a DR Keena?
It's KB.
KB Homes,
Can
yeah.
you tell us a little more about it?
About what East Village is going to be? Yeah, so I mean, they're essentially trying to emulate the domain, but on the east side. So they're doing 2 different sides of it. So one, which KB won the contract to have just the single family residential, and then eventually they'll connect it to the retail side of things. So essentially, like I said, it'll look like the domain. They've got retail. They haven't really figured out exactly like what like shops and everything will be there just yet. They're still leasing all of that.
Right.
But they have said that there'll be a movie theater, a grocery store, obviously different types of retail stores, and then apartments and stuff as well. So kind of like what you described earlier, stores on the bottom, housing on top kind of thing. They're reserving a lot of green space, which is nice. They'll have a public park and then a private one for the KB residents. But I mean, it looks like, from everything I've seen, it looks like really cool project.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. I remember seeing that come out, and I'm not sure if you had to go through this, Keena, but I believe at the time, KB, in order to be on the VIP wait list, you had to put a deposit down.
Correct.
Get a pre-approved with their lender. Not necessarily that you're forced to use their lender, but you have to get pre-approved with their lender. It was, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it was a $2,000 deposit just to be on their VIP wait list. This is not even a contract. So it's, I mean, seeing the new developments coming here, and then how builders are now conducting business, the way they do transactions is so different now. People aren't used to that. So when I had clients interested, and I'm like, well, you can most certainly, we can definitely be on the wait list, but you have to put a deposit down. And they're like, you mean a contract? And I'm like, no, a deposit to be on the wait list.
Yeah, just to even be seriously considered. And I think it's $4,000 if you're a previous homeowner.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy.
It is crazy. I mean,
well, you know what? You bring up a good point, Liza, when you were talking about the things that buyers have to do for new construction and it being an option as opposed to competing in the residential resale market. Because sellers are winning in this market, but
absolutely,
let's not be mistaken. Buyers are winning too.
Yeah.
If they're ready to play and they're able to play ball, we always talk about that. Like, be ready to play ball, be ready to pay over. You're basically going to overpay for a house right now. And that's the way you're going to procure real estate if you're looking in the Austin market, especially in the Austin metro market. But
exactly,
having new construction as an option, there's also a form of preparation for that as well. So if you're a buyer and you're looking in the new construction market, be prepared to do things like Liza said, putting in deposits, putting yourself on a wait list. Before you do any of that, whether you use me, Keena, Liza, Amanda, I don't care who you use, have representation, because someone else has to be in your corner when, the lumber costs go high, or if there's a clause in the contract that's an escalation and they can contract you for $500 on a home, and then by the time you close in 12 months, it's $600, and then you can't afford it. So there's things in the contracts, and there's a way for us to help guide you through the new construction process, and just know that it's not perfect. I know realtors tend to be the sounding board for a lot of issues that come up with new development, but trust me, your realtors are still fighting for you. It may not look like it on the surface, and things that realtors cannot prepare for are delays, whether it be materials delays or labor delays because they don't have enough workers, inclement weather.
Right.
But most of the delays I'm seeing have to do with materials shortage and laborers, right? People actually, the trades that are working on your home. So anyway, I digress, but I just wanted to put that out there. If you're looking at new construction as an option, having a good relationship with a realtor. Sometimes we're able to get inside. I've got a couple of builders who will just say, hey, something's coming out tomorrow.
Right.
Be on the lookout for the email. And then every builder has a specific format in which you would actually submit an offer, or even put yourself on a wait list or an interest list. So resale or new construction, you're going to have to make some sort of concession or sacrifice in a way. And this isn't 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago. This is today, and this is where things are today. So it's best to be prepared. And yeah, you can be pissed off because it's not easy, but you could be pissed off all the way to a new home. You know,
That's one way to think of it.
Melissa.
Yeah,
It's true.
I mean, I have a client that we put under contract. Oh, sorry, Melissa. Finish what you're saying. Sorry.
I'm done.
Oh, I was just saying I had a client that we put under contract for a new build. I want to say it was like October or November of last year, and they just poured his slab like 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, it's a payoff. You're spending the time, you're spending the money kind of thing. But luckily I did connect with a lender that's doing like extended rate locks. Right. So like one client that I have with KB, they're under contract and they're not supposed to be finished until like October of this year. So she's sending over, quotes for, so that he doesn't get priced out, just kind of keeping that interest rate exactly the same as it is from today all the way to October. So hopefully that can help too if other lenders are doing things like that to kind of help these buyers out so they're not getting priced out. And Liza, I know you said that happened to you, and it's difficult. It's so heartbreaking. It
is. It is really hard, and it's kind of back to the grind. We got to see our possibilities and see what opportunities are out there. If maybe not this location, maybe a different location, or what can we work with? I feel for buyers, but the crazy thing is that people are still able to find homes, and it doesn't necessarily mean you have to offer, like when people hear the news of I need to offer 50,000 over, 100,000 over, that's not necessarily the case. I always tell people, look at the data, and then what the agent or the realtor should do is also communicate with the listing agent to find out what's going on, right? How many offers? Sometimes I'll give you a little bit more information, which is helpful. I had one, for example, this one instance, there's a condo listed on Grove Boulevard. I think you guys know which condominium complex I'm talking about. The property went live, I believe, Thursday or Friday. My client contacts me on Saturday, and she says, I'm interested. I want to submit an offer. And it's priced like at $399, right? So I say, okay, let me run comps. I immediately ran comps for her. Let me send you this. Let me send you what the scenarios look like. And I said, and before you make a decision, let me get with the listing agent as well, because you never know what has come in, what's going on. So I asked the listing agent. I said, look, is there any way you can tell me how many offers, how many showings, how much interest, what's going on, or are they crazy over asking price? Do we have a chance? Because the last thing I want to do is waste anybody's time as well. So the listing agent did inform me that one was substantially over asking price, which put my client in a bind. And she's like, I'm not even gonna put an offer on this home, because she was only going to go above maybe 15K, and the other offer was still way past that. So it's one of those things, like when you contact the listing agent, get information, also look at the data in front of you. It really does help a buyer make an informed decision if it's worth it or not to move forward. But it's not impossible. I've still had some cases where a buyer didn't have to offer that much, and they were still able to win. You see what I mean? So it's not crazy. Exactly. And I don't know where Melissa went. Her connection probably is bad, but it's cool. We'll carry on the conversation here. But hopefully Melissa can join in soon. I wanted to talk about, I don't know, speaking of, craziness, recently, I don't know if you saw that the Wilco tax assessments came out, and a lot of the homes were assessed at, I believe from a lot of colleagues that I was talking to, because remember, realtors invest in properties too. It's not just people that are owner occupants, they invest in properties. And also I had people that I know in my sphere of influence that also live in Wilco, and they were like, wow, my property values just went up from the assessed values. Anytime it's assessed county values and they go up that high, 50, 60, 70, or even 100% higher than what they were assessed beforehand, that's not good news, because what that means is that end owner ends up paying more in taxes. So it's one of those things where you're left wondering, well, what is that going to mean? Either for the owner occupants that are living in that home and they're owning it, they are going to have to pay for more. They're going to have to come up with creative solutions, or just bite the bullet and pay that additional monthly payment to be able to cover the taxes. On the other end, the investors that own property in Wilco, It's one of those things. Are they going to sell? Are they going to jack up the rates, the rental rates? Which that's probably going to happen here. You know, we're probably going to see an increase in rental rates just so they're not in the red and they're able to cover that, unless they're willing to be in the red just to, you know, have a tenant in there, a solid tenant in the property. So I'm not sure if you saw that, Keena, but I thought that was just crazy.
I heard a lot of complaints about it, a lot of upset people, a lot of people trying to figure out how to, contest it. And a whole mess.
It is. It's a whole mess. And I mean, I'm not sure what the consensus was behind that, doing that.
Yeah.
It only happened in Williamson County. I haven't seen that here in Travis County, but that's just crazy for that to happen. The other thing that in Travis County, other news, I guess if you want to say, was that I have seen for people that are closing on their home, a seller, when they do sell their home, typically what happens is, and this is only from what I'm aware of, this is only happening in Travis County, but when a seller sells their home, typically what we do is we say, all right, now the new owner, which is the buyer, right? The new owner is now going to be responsible for the taxes, for the property taxes. So what has been happening is Travis County will send a late notice, or hey, your taxes are due, to the prior owner, right? And they're putting them, like, it's weird. They put their name in collections, trying to collect that bill. And for whatever reason, now title companies are having to include a disclaimer in the title, in the closing disclosure, stating that you guys need to get together on this, or at least have the seller, because Travis County will only update the information once a year. I think it's only going to be this year. I'm not sure, but that's going to create a lot of problems. People thinking like, wait a minute, my realtor told me that this is not my deal anymore. It's not my house. So now the property taxes should be to the new owner, which is the case. It's just Travis County is so behind. I think they updated into a new system that is creating a lot of problems for the prior owners that have sold real estate in Travis County. So I think that's crazy too. I hate saying crazy all the time, but it is. It's just, what's going on? And we're in 2022.
Crazy times.
It is. It's crazy times. So I'm like, damn, that is crazy. But yeah, I mean.
I saw that. I think only one story of that. And I haven't had it personally happen to any of my sellers or anything like that. But I did see a story about that, and they were saying that they update it, like you said, once a year in October, I believe, was the time frame.
Right.
And that's it. And you just are kind of SOL if you are after that time frame, and you're going to have to deal with it until next October, I guess it sounded like.
I know.
So
it's crazy.
Definitely a weird situation.
It is very weird for peeps in the Travis County area. I haven't seen it happen in Williamson County or any other counties, but for anybody that this might be helpful, if you just sold, maybe keep an eye out on that. That if you do get collection calls coming in, it's just, it's because Travis County's behind. Yeah, it's part of the process. So Keena, tell me more about, I don't know what, as far as interest rates are concerned, right, with the hike in interest rates, do you have the buyers that you have now that are locked in, or I think you said that the lender was willing, or I think they're going to extend their interest rate, locking their interest rate. Are they in the 5s? Are they in the 6? Where are they at right now?
So originally, most of them were in the 3s, which is nice.
Yeah.
So I think 1 or maybe 2 of them got to lock in like a high 3.
Right.
But the rest I'm seeing high 4s, low 5s still.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything go to the 6s just yet.
I have 2 that were quoted at that. So that's just crazy to see that. Even with buyers using down payment assistance, I think what happened in the past couple of weeks, I don't know if you saw that with T-Shack, the down payment assistance programs, they were completely wiped out. They went away. So, and it kind of scared, like, I was telling my lender, I was like, what's going to happen? Because what if people need to use that, or they were under contract, weren't able to lock in right away? And he says, we got to wait until we have an update from them. So the crazy part is that they run out of funds, and then they update the system to state that they aren't offering those programs. And I think I saw just today or the day, I think it was maybe yesterday, that they brought maybe 2 more programs back. But the interest rate is really high. I think on one program, the interest rate is at 6.75%, which is 4% help. It's crazy, right? And then the other program was 3% help at 6%, if I remember correctly. So that, I mean, it's one of those things. If buyers need those down payment funds, right, to be able to make it happen, it's really not free. You're actually paying for it. And in that sense, it would be a higher interest rate. Otherwise, you might be in the fives somewhere. But even then, I still think that my phone was ringing. Sorry about that. Even then, I still think, given the interest rate hikes, I still believe that it's still a good time to invest in real estate or even buy a home. I still think that it's worth it. I don't know where your thoughts or opinions are at with that, Keena.
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked about it in like one of our first lives where we were like comparing what it is right now, like interest rate wise, to what it has been and how far we've seen that go up. So at the end of the day, we were essentially spoiled by these pandemic interest rates.
Yeah.
I think in 2018, when I bought this house that I'm in now, it was at like 4.5%. So we got much below that, and everyone was very excited by that. And now we're just kind of back to more of a normal is really what it is.
Right.
So that's kind of my take on it, my opinion, and kind of what I tell some of the buyers that are a little weary of it is that, you know, it dipped to historical lows. Like that was not going to last. And now we're just kind of back at a norm. And it still makes more sense to kind of get in where you can now, because so many people are like, well, but my friend bought last year and their house is worth this much now. And I'm like, doesn't that make sense to jump on that and have your friends say that about you next year? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's still, to me, it costs to wait. The longer you wait, the higher that interest rate's going to go up. We're not seeing a downwards trend.
Right.
And if you're buying a house to live in, that shouldn't matter as much right now, because in the long term, it's likely to go back up.
Exactly. You know, it's one of those things where this whole almost decade that I've been in the real estate business, I think the lowest interest rates I've seen were in the low twos. And then now the highest I've seen is in the low sixes or at 6%. But people that have bought real estate beforehand, right? I mean, I'm only talking about that decade. They were used to already 6%, 8%, almost 10 or 11%. That was the norm to them. So the people that have bought and sold real estate, you know, in this past decade, we've been spoiled with those interest rates. And now that we're into the spikes, everybody's kind of going crazy, like, oh my God, you know what I mean? It's really high, and they feel a little bit uncomfortable, like this is a really, really high interest rate. Even I do that, you know what I mean? Because I got my interest rate pretty low as well, but even now when I see those interests, I'm like, ooh, but I'm still thinking, oh, you know what? It's still a good idea to still purchase property if you can, right? It's still worth it, in my opinion. And I mean, for people to understand that it's really the idea behind it. I don't know if it's going to work in the Austin area. The idea behind it is to offset inflation. Now, I don't think that equals to a seller's market kind of slowing down. If anything, it'll still increase in prices, but it won't be super, super fast. It won't be like, you know what I mean? Like one day or how we experienced it last year, that was insane to go through that. It was pretty stressful. So I'm seeing homes be on the market a bit longer, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to sell for less. So yeah. So I don't know what your thoughts are. If that's I'm only one realtor out of many, 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 many in the Austin area. So I like having this discussion because I think it helps viewers see from other colleagues that are also in the business, that are in the real estate business, helping other clients find a home or sell a home, to see that here's one point of view and here's also another point of view. So it's a matter of perspective as well.
100%. I mean, we're definitely on the same page. Like, it's weird because I jumped into the market, like, as this pandemic was essentially about to hit. And so this is the market that I know. This is the market that I've operated in. So it is definitely interesting to see the comparisons of, like, how the norm was and then how it is kind of current in its crazier state. But you're right. I think that the prices will continue to rise. Like you said, we're going to hit a peak where it's almost like not rising so crazy high.
Right.
And then it's just going to keep riding from there. Like, I talk to people daily who are terrified of like a crash. So we kind of have those conversations lots of times as well.
Right. No, absolutely. I mean, it's hard. I mean, there's those people that want to wait for that to happen, right? Because they're like, yeah, I'm going to jump in on that opportunity. But there is a cost to waiting, not knowing, right? We don't have a crystal ball. We cannot predict what's going to happen. We can look at indicators, but it's making the best judgment call on what's going to be best for you, right? Because everybody is different and has a unique perspective and also their own situation. What can they afford? Is it going to price them out? Are they going to have to move farther away? So there's a lot of, varying factors or unknown factors out there, but I'm hoping that with new opportunities that come up, new programs that come up, this will really help bridge that gap. But the other thing I wanted to discuss, and I don't know if Melissa's going to come on. She might have been cut off here. Let me see if I can try to ring her. Well, let me see. Should I ring her in? Let's see if she can come back on.
Yeah.
I'll try to call her. Sorry, guys. You guys are seeing a back end here, but I'm trying to get Melissa back on. I think she might have been had a power outage and completely shut her internet off. All right. So the other thing I wanted to discuss, Keena, is on the refinance. I don't know if you've had any clients ask you about that already have a home, right? Because this is also an important subject that I wanted to discuss. A lot of people are debating, should I refinance, right? With these higher interest rates. Is it worth it? Why should I? I actually had a client that contacted me. I did an annual review and I sent him a packet of what activity has been happening in his area. Not necessarily to get him to sell his house or anything like that. I just wanted to provide him valuable information. That way, if he wanted to refinance, he could. I don't ever like assuming that nobody's going to be in a position to refinance or sell or needing to buy or anything like that. But I did provide that packet to him. And then he calls me and he's like, I've been meaning to call you. He says, I want to be able to pay my house faster and have a lower mortgage payment. And again, I'm not a lender. And he was asking me, he's like, can you run some numbers for me? I was like, you really need to get with the lender for this. But I said, based on what you told me, I believe you can pay off. He had a 30-year mortgage, right? And he's been paying extra to the principal. And I said, based on what you told me, it looks like even with the higher interest rates, you should be able to pay off your mortgage in 15 years and still have like your mortgage be at maybe $200 less, right? And I said, again, talk to your lender and see what your options are, what that comparison looks like, because it could very well mean that he might be able to pay that in 15 years, but pay an additional to principal as everything is right now with the current interest rate. But yeah, I'm not sure if you're getting that from your clients that are wondering about refinancing. Is it a good idea? I mean, it's a higher interest rate. What do you think? What are you getting from that feedback?
I actually haven't gotten a lot of people too curious about it. Yeah, I'm not sure. So I guess I've thought about it for myself personally, like when the interest rates were low, but as they kind of creep back up, I guess in my own opinion, I had kind of stopped, pursuing that piece of it. So I'm not too sure, much about that piece of it really.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I've had, there's many different reasons why it would be a good idea to refinance, right? Despite the interest rates, it's really what the end goal is, right? I've had people come to me and they ask me, I want to do renovations to my house. It needs repairs. And it's not one of those things. It's one of those things where they would rather maybe tap into the equity. So they'll do and I mentioned to them, an option would be a cash out refi, right? There's no capital tax gains on that because you're essentially getting a loan against it. You're kind of refinancing and getting cash out. So that's an option for them where it still makes sense. They don't have to, I think, let's see.
That Melissa trying to get back in?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know what's going on. Not sure. Yeah, I don't think I can do it from my phone, tap someone in to the Skype here. But what has happened is either with the cash out refi, people can either use those funds to do repairs to the house, and it will be at a higher interest rate, right? Essentially what you're doing is you're refinancing that entire amount. You pay off the old mortgage, whatever's left over is what you can get cash back, as long as it's within a certain percentage from the value. That is so weird. My apologies. What's going on here? Okay. And so the other thing that people can do, again, they would have to get with their lender on this, but another thing that can happen would be you get the cash out and use that as a down payment for a next investment, if it makes sense, right? It's one of those things where the end buyer or the owner would have to get with the lender, discuss scenarios, right? Because what it boils down to is, what is the end goal? Are you looking to invest? Are you looking to do repairs? Are you looking to pay off debt, right? That's another reason people would do this. They would do this to pay off debt. Let me see if I can, hold on a second. I think this might be Melissa here. Hold on a second. Hey, is this Melissa?
I'm having major technical difficulties.
Oh my gosh, girl, let me tap you in. I have Melissa on the phone here. Melissa, okay, hold on a second. Can you talk real quick?
Huge.
Okay. Let me see if I don't think the audience will be able to hear you, but I'm gonna have you on speaker. That way, if you want to chime in on anything, I'm gonna have you really close to my laptop speaker so people can hear your thoughts as well. So what we're discussing, Melissa, go ahead and talk real quick. Let me see if Keena can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear?
Yeah, it's a little in and out, but yeah, I can get the gist of it.
You can get the. Okay.
So for the audience,
Ooh, yeah, Melissa, I'm not able to hear you. You're cutting off a bit. Go ahead, Melissa. Yeah, I don't hear her at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, Melissa, can you?
I'll tell you, and you can repeat what I'm
Can you hear Keena? Can you hear Melissa?
Mm-mm.
No, we don't hear you, Melissa. But go ahead and did you hear a conversation about the refinance subject?
No, I'm telling you, like, I can't get in, and the whole city is, like, shut down.
Oh my gosh, all of Manor is experiencing a power outage right now. It's all shut down. This is
That's
crazy,
crazy.
girl. I'm so sorry. Wow. Well, I have you on the line. Let me continue the discussion. Yeah.
Tell everybody I'm sorry.
No worries, guys. Melissa is experiencing technical difficulties. No. So she right now, yeah, Manor, all of Manor right now has, I think the entire city has a power outage. So she has no connection at all whatsoever. I do have her on my phone. That way, if she wants to give her thoughts on it, I will go ahead and relay. So Melissa, what we're discussing here, we're on the topic of refinance. And what I was telling the audience is that a lot of people are still debating, is it a good idea to refinance, right, with the higher interest rates? And I think, in my opinion, it's my belief that it depends on your end goal, right? So if the owner is wanting to do repairs to the house or pay off debt, or potentially, if they can, buy an investment property, right? That gets a little tricky, which is why I always recommend that they get with their lender. But if they want to buy an investment property and use that as their down payment for the next one, there are possibilities. Then again, it has to make sense, right? So if it means your current mortgage going from, I'm gonna make a number up, so let's say your mortgage is $2,000, and all it means to be able to cash out refi, get some cash back, and do something with that money, either invest it, put it into your house, or pay off debt. And all it does, it brings your monthly payment $500 more just to get that cash out. For some people, it may be worth it, right? With credit cards, right? We see credit cards, they're at sometimes 20%, 15% interest rate. So when you weigh out the cost, yeah, it's definitely better to go ahead and do a cash out refi rather than sticking with your high monthly payments on a credit card. Same with repairs, right? Repairs, I mean, if it's gonna cost you $50,000 to do repairs to your house, it's one of those things where, well, do I wait and save money, or do I take advantage of the opportunity to have now tap into the equity and do the repairs and pay, a higher monthly payment, but not drastically high, right? It has to be within means for someone to be able to do that.
Right.
So what do you think, Melissa? I'll go ahead and relay your thoughts. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you can tell the audience, first of all.
All right, you're cutting out, Melissa. I can't hear you at all.
Hold on.
Okay.
What you can tell the audience is apologize on my behalf for these tech difficulties. I'm going to be in the dark tonight, so maybe they'll have mercy on me. But in terms of the subject, I feel like, being a good representative in real estate for, our clients is offering the options and allowing them to pick the options that are best suited for them and their family. So it's not always about a sale, but it's about helping them and meeting them where they're at and their needs. And if that means a cash out refi to improve their current home, then I'm for it 100%.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think, Melissa, the audience was able to hear you. Keena, you were able to hear Melissa, right?
Yeah, for
okay,
sure.
Awesome. Yeah, that it boils down to how, I think I'm biased, but realtors are definitely a good resource, right? We have connections to lenders, we have connections to title companies, we have connections to vendors, to market stats, right? What's happening in the market. We do have that great resource, and it doesn't always mean we're wanting to just sell, or like getting you to sell or getting you to buy. It could very well mean informing you of capital gains tax, informing you of filing your homestead exemption, informing you of potential property tax increases, informing you of maybe refinancing. It might make sense depending on your goals, right? There's so many things out there that people need to be aware of, that they kind of miss it, right? It's like an oversight to them, especially with capital gains tax. And also, and I bring that up with the capital gains tax because a lot of people want to sell and it doesn't make sense, because with the hike and increased real estate values, that means you could potentially have those implications, right? Where you pay a capital gains tax, and it might just make sense to tap into that equity by refinancing that and using those funds without having the implications of a capital gains tax. What do you think, Melissa?
Yeah, but let's be honest, in this market, I'm just going to put this out here because I know of someone who has is going to be paying a capital gains tax, whether they sold their home in less than 2 years, or, the net profit of the sale of their homes exceeds, a certain amount, either for a single person or a married person. So I will say this, people are seeing the opportunity in their equity right now. So you might see situations where a seller is okay because they're cashing out at such a high number that they didn't anticipate that they could even reach in the near future. So something that would have normally taken 10 years in terms of equity is happening in 2 years, 3 years. And so you do see a lot of that. But yes, I do agree. If your home is worth more than you bought it, and you're able to tap into that to avoid the gains, by all means, do what's best for you. Always.
Absolutely. And it is on a case-by-case basis, right? So for example, I had one where there was an elderly lady. She had her home in 04 off of South First. And for her, it didn't make sense to do a cash out refi. All she wanted to do is sell her house. And she was aware of the capital gains tax. She was more than happy to pay for that. It was a big amount of money that she was able to buy a home in Buda and then live off the rest for her retirement. For her, it made sense for her, right? She was already in her exactly. Like for some people, it makes sense. And actually, I've had several scenarios that way where they're elderly. They're like, I can't maintain the home anymore. I need to sell. It doesn't make sense for me to keep it as an investment. I just need to sell. So for some people, or they're moving out of state, right? There's some people that have relocated, they're needing to move, and they need to sell. In some cases, you absolutely need to sell, as long as you understand the tax implications, if any, right? Because there are exemptions that protect people on their primary residence. The thing that sucks that a lot of people don't know, and I've had this happen with one client, where he sold his primary residence, and it was it was like a year ago. He sold his primary residence. He moved into one of his rentals, made it his primary. And then he's like, man, values are great. I'm just going to go ahead and sell this one too. And I said, well, wait a minute. I said, I would love to help you, but I said, you're going to have to pay capital gains tax. And there's a rule to that. So it's one of those things where sometimes it makes sense and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it makes sense to hold off.
And can we just state the obvious that sometimes people don't care?
And sometimes people don't care.
paying the taxes.
You're absolutely right about that. Some people, they don't care. For them, it's still worth it. So it really
They're
depends.
making so much money on the sale that it's just like whatever, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Relevant to
Yeah. And then bringing it back to the refinance subject, Melissa, any scenarios that you can talk about? Is it worth it to refinance? And I know I've mentioned it depends on the end goal, and I'm trying to get everybody's opinion here. But what is your opinion on that? Is it worth it to refinance?
Okay, so, and just for the audience to understand, there still are closing costs to refinancing. So you have to do the calculation on what that closing cost is and how long you're going to live in the home. And if you think it'll appreciate to where you're not, like you're going to make that money up in equity over
Right.
time.
Right.
So refi to me is truly for the homeowner that knows that they're going to stay put, and they know that, you know, the time and the distance, the time between the time they refi and the time they potentially would sell that home,
Right.
that it's not a loss for them, right?
Exactly.
It's not a loss for them. So,
Exactly.
by the way, we know that the interest rates are going up, and with that, so are the refi rates as well. But we saw a lot of refi going on last year, and rightfully so. These interest rates were at record low.
Mm-hmm.
Is it good to refi now? Hey, it may still be good for you to refi now.
Yeah.
You know, talk to your lender. If you don't have a trusted lender, we've got some amazing lenders that have, you know, come on our live series, and some that haven't yet. So if you guys need a trusted lender, we can refer you to one.
Right.
But it's always good to know what the value of your home is, and with that, you would find a trusted agent that can give you comps for your house to see if it even makes sense for you to do something like that. If you are in a position where you had to get in with a really high interest rate and just to procure your home, you know, and you did not refi last year, and you're like, darn, I should have done it. Still talk to a lender. Still talk to a lender. You just never know what could be possible for you. But don't
Absolutely.
wait too long, because it seems like these interest rates are not stopping.
Exactly.
It seems
And
like
we
they're
never
continuing to
know,
go up.
right? Right, Melissa and Keena, we don't know where the interest rates, they could very well go down one week and then come up in the next couple of weeks. We don't know what's going to happen. Again, if we did, we would all be making decisions, you know, like forecasting what decisions we're going to be making. But and Edgar did say about the capital gains tax that he says if you did not live in the house for the last 2 years before selling in the 5-year period preceding the sale, and did I read that wrong? So 2 out of the 5 years.
2 out of the 5.
Yeah, 2 out of the 5 years. Then and I always tell people, get with a CPA. We had our last live stream. Get with a CPA for these types of questions. Again, we love giving this general knowledge and helping you guys out. But at the end of the day, everybody's situation is unique, and that there could be other factors that we are unaware of that you need to get with your CPA, that your CPA can help you with, right? Same with the refinance questions. You would need to get with the lender.
We can have Danny back on. Danny
Yeah.
is an amazing resource.
Yeah,
He's
absolutely.
awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be great. I mean, I think these are the subjects that people really want to know, right? With either whether they own a home or they're looking to buy, these are all very important factors that are continually changing. It wasn't the same as last month, right? Let's see. I think Edgar. Yeah. So yeah, Edgar's right on with the homestead exemptions. About you use $250 for single people, $500 for if you're married. And also you acquire the residence in the last 5 years through and there's also 1031 exchanges. You could definitely now here's the thing. People think they can use a 1031 exchange for a primary into an investment. You cannot do that. It has to be investment to investment in a like kind property. So maybe that's another thing we can talk about in our next live stream, 1031 exchanges. And also, guys, we would love to hear your feedback. If you guys have any suggestions, I just had a lovely friend of mine. And I don't even know if she's on this live stream. Viviana, if you're there, holler. No. But she suggested that we talk about refinance and it's true. There's a lot of people out there that we don't want to make the assumption that it's not a good time to refinance, and that's not the case. There's a lot of people out there that it may make sense for them to refinance. And Viviana, if you're hearing this, girl, let me know. But again, it depends on your end goal. A lot of people refinance for many, many different reasons. One of the cases including my client wanted to pay his house faster and lower his mortgage payments. And you're probably thinking, is that even possible with the high interest rates? Well, you better believe it. It could be. It could be. Based on his scenario, he had such a low balance left. And he didn't, the thing is, when you have a low balance, right? Let's say you have $100,000 left or even $50,000 left. Just because you have a low balance, just because you have a low balance doesn't mean that your monthly payment changes. It's the same for the whole 30-year term. So if you're wanting to pay it off faster, right? And lower your monthly payments, it could very well be possible. It will be a higher interest rate, but honestly, it depends on the end goal. Same when you buy anything, right? When people buy a vehicle, what are they looking at? They're looking at, what are my monthly payments going to be, right? A lot of people, it motivates them for many, many, many reasons, right? Some people will look, well, how much interest am I paying? Well, it makes sense for me to just pay cash, right? And some people are like, no, I'd rather keep my cash. I'd rather stick with a monthly payment, a reasonable monthly payment. Interest rates don't matter. There's so many people from different scenarios, different backgrounds. They're all thinking differently. I think you guys can agree with me on that, because I'm not the only agent here. You guys are also agents amongst other realtors here in the greater Austin area that have different scenarios for all their clients, different backgrounds, and everybody's playing this at it's a different game ball, like a different strategy. So you guys agree with that, or am I just talking out of my ass here?
I agree.
Like,
I just
point.
feel so bad that I'm not able to be on air with my big sombrero.
Yeah. Oh, I know I missed the sombrero, but I know, girl. It's okay. That Mainer power outage, shame on you. No, I'm just kidding. But
Remind our audience why I'm not on there.
yes. So again, guys, Melissa's not on here. There was apparently Mainer. If anybody from Mainer is listening in, Mainer has a huge major outage right now, so it cut off all her connection. So it's just Keena and I here on the live stream, but I do have Melissa on the phone here. So if you can hear her little voice here on my speaker, I'm trying my best to hold my phone here so y'all can hear any of her thoughts or opinions. But guys, I don't know if you guys wanted to discuss anything else, or should we wrap it up? What do you think, guys?
I'm good to wrap it up just for selfish reasons.
Selfish reasons. I hear you, girl. I hear you. Hey, guys, our next live is happening April 27th. Do I have that right? April 27th?
Yep, you
I might
got
be
it
wrong.
right.
Okay.
Yes.
April 27th is our next live at 7 p.m. Guys, please, we're trying to grow. Our goal is to have 100 subscribers by July 1st. So please like and subscribe. And also, if you guys have any feedback, any suggestions, or anything any topics that you would like for us to discuss, please let us know. Either message us directly. We do have our links in the bio or in the About Me section on our YouTube channel that you can reach us directly if you do have any suggestions. Or friends out there, please let us know. Give us a call like, hey, I would really like to know more about this topic. We'd be happy to do that. I had my friend reach out to me literally today, and I said, girl, let's talk about that refinance subject. Let's throw it in there, because you know why? None of this is scripted. It's all a casual conversation. We're very knowledgeable realtors here that we can just on topic talk about anything that you guys can throw at us. And if we don't know, we're going to tell you we don't know. You need to get with a particular professional, right? Such as a CPA or a lender on certain topics. But yeah, feel free to make any suggestions if you'd like. And I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for coming in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I think we're going to end it. You good?
Sounds
Hey, I
good.
think I'm gonna
Bye,
get on
guys.
my cell phone.
Yeah, bye.
Hey.
Oh, well, hold on a second. What's going on, Melissa? I still have I have the live going on. I think she cut out.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to end the stream. Thank you guys for all the love. And Edgar, thank you for all the suggestions. Look at that. He is so knowledgeable. Guys, if you need any help, Edgar's awesome. Edgar, thank you so much for all of this information. He's definitely very good at what he does. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you on April 27th at 7 p.m. Peace.